According to the World Health Organization, at least 1 in 5 women around the world has been physically or sexually abused by a man or men at some point in her life. While this violence deeply affects women and girls, it's not just a women's issue because most people who commit violence against women are men. So men must also be part of the solution. Hello, everyone. This is your host, Nandini Ray, and you are listening to the Maitri Podcast between friends, conversations with Maitri. Today, we will be discussing how men can get involved in the movement to end gender based violence, how they can be allies, leaders, and change makers in building safer communities. To discuss this, I'm honored to be joined by two incredible community leaders, Dr. Dasharath Yata, Executive Co-Director of SEWA-AIFW, Asian Indian Family Wellness, and Shakeel Syed, Executive Director of South Asian Network, SAN. Dr. Yata is a passionate advocate for the South Asian community in Minnesota, leading programs that promote health, wellness, and social justice. And Shakeel Syed brings decades of experience organizing and empowering minority communities, advocating for civil rights, and building interfaith solidarity. Welcome, Dashrath and Shakeel. It's such a pleasure to have you both here.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting us and for this important discussion. I'm elated and honored to be with both of you.
Yeah, me too, Nandini. Thanks for your space, and it's a great opportunity for us to share something with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's start our discussion with a personalized question. What motivated you personally to take on leadership roles in social justice or community service?
Dasharath,
Sure.
please go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I can go ahead. So, yeah, my journey in the community service started during my college days in India when I joined the National Social Service Scheme, that is NSS, took part in activities like health camps, education programs, and helping families in need. The experience opened my eyes to how teamwork can make a big difference. I received a gold medal for my service, which inspired in me keep working for my community. I always believe in Manava Seve Madhava Seva. That means human services, divine services. So I am a student union leader also back in India, and I used to work in non-profit in back in India also. And after coming in United States in the year 2016, I started working with the non-profit called SEWA. SEWA serve all the South Asian community here. We are serving 95,000 people, and I used to work at area of domestic violence prevention, crisis line calls, health and mental health clinics, and community outreach. Today, I am leading South Asian Men's Circle program, which helps me talk about healthy relationship, family values, and violence prevention. The leadership role continues my lifelong goal to create safe, respectful, and caring community for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Shakeel?
Yeah, mine is not so elaborate, really. I was not in public service when I was growing up, but I think I was primarily trained and conditioned by my parents to be responsible community member and support and help those who are in need even before they ask for help. So I think primarily that's what motivates me to continue the legacy of my parents in some modest way in the spaces that I'm in.
Thank you. That's inspirational. Actually, I can share that my dad also he was behind me when I started doing this kind of community work. So maybe he's the reason I'm in this field. So I can relate to it. Thank you, Dasharath and Shakeel, for sharing your inspirational journey. So now let's talk about your organizations. Can you share any programs or partnership your organization has been part of that focus on working with men and boys? Shakeel,
Yeah,
you can start. Yeah.
sure. So at South Asian Network, we have multiple partnerships, and internally, one of our core program is called Awaz,
Mm.
Voices Against Violence, in which we invite men and women both of all backgrounds to help and assist those who are victims and survivors of violence, particularly gender-based violence. We have partnerships with schools, colleges, student clubs, faith groups, cultural and community centers, academics and activists, and indeed victims and survivors.
Mm.
And we continue to do this work over the course of last 25 some odd years. I have helped thousands and thousands of folks. Unfortunately, I hate to say this large number because that also demonstrates the pervasive presence of this malaise, this cancer in the community.
That's wonderful. And it's a much needed work. So listeners, please visit SAN's website. It's southasiannetwork.org to find more about what Shakil has just shared. And Dasharath, can you tell us your
Absolutely. So, domestic violence is key program for us, but we have a different groups, including women's group, youth group, seniors, neurodiversity group, LGBT group. So, all kind of groups are there. So, since domestic violence is a key program, so most of the time, men is main perpetrator for the domestic violence issues. So we thought idea, why don't you start a men's group? So that is the reason for the starting our men's group meeting. We started South Asian men's group in the year 2021 in the month of August, and it's continually running since 4 years without stopping anything. We started with 5 people. Right now we have more than 100 people. We have a WhatsApp group, we have a Facebook group, and it's the circle to bring men together for open and honest conversation. We begin with the cooking sessions where men could relax and talk about family life, relationships, and personal growth. Creating a safe and friendly environment helped men open up, focusing on healthy masculinity and personal growth made discussion positive. Regular meetings build trust and brotherhood among participants. So that's why it's working very well, and we are giving space to men, and it's working as a peer support group, and it is also helping the domestic abuse in the family. Thank
Oh,
you.
wonderful. So how many men are in this support group or in your
100 people,
circle?
more than 100 people right now. We started with 5 people. Right now, we are 100 plus people. We have a WhatsApp group, we have a Facebook group, and is actually this coming Saturday we have a group. We are celebrating the International Men's Day. Every November we celebrate the International Men's Day. We are looking forward to the event this
Oh, so
Saturday.
100 men under the same roof, and you just talk to them, you engage them.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah,
Uh,
yes. We have 100 people group, and most of the people attend. More always 50 plus people will attend the meetings, and sometime we will go to the parks in the summertime, especially, and we will cook over there and invite some guests, public appointed leaders, and we will invite them talk about the gender issues and abuse issues, and sometime we will do the meditation yoga session, all kind of work, different topics we will discuss. Actually topics like South Asian men being the head of the household, stress that can come being an immigrant in the US, South Asian traditions that are helpful or harmful, personal growth and family cohesion. So intergenerational gap. So
Yeah.
all kind of topics we will pick
Yeah,
every
wonderful.
month.
It is like it is giving me hope that it is possible to engage and educate men, and especially South Asian men. And I know how hard this work is to bring, even five men to bring under the same roof to talk about gender justice, and you are talking about 100 men. So I am like really hopeful right now. So listeners, please go to sewa-aifw.org to learn about their program. I'm excited. Maybe I will reach you offline, Dasharath. If we want to change the harmful culture which makes violence against women acceptable and legitimate, then we must engage men and boys through dialogues, through activities, so that they can see the root cause and be part of the solution. But it's so hard to talk about this issue with men. And in my opinion, men's violence is the product of society and history, not biology. So boys are not born violent, but they're born into a society that says being male is about being aggressive, tough, or in control. You cannot cry, you have to be tough, and sometimes they are even rewarded for being strong and unemotional. And what's more, many times men learn a lot of a set of beliefs and attitudes that serve to justify violence, and like they're encouraged by society to say that gender violence is women's issue, it's not your issue, so you don't talk about this thing. But we know that how important it is to engage men. If half of the population, they don't do anything, they don't talk about this issue, then how can we solve the problem that affect all of us, right? So and look at you, both of you are men, but both of you are so passionate about this cause, and both of you are doing a lot. And so it is a hope for us, so that our future generation, if we can engage young men to talk about this issue, to do their role. So I am very hopeful that in future we will see a different world. So in your work, what cultural or social barriers do you see that make it difficult for South Asian men to engage in activities or campaigns that focus in preventing violence against women, or even talk about this issue? Shakeel, you can start.
So there are few fundamental core significant barriers, I believe, and each one of them are interconnected also. So first, I would say the stigma associated with this, the cultural taboo, home and shame, family dynamics, honor and shame dynamics within a family. You're looking at the power dynamics of gender between men and women, the patriarchy, misogyny. These are norms, unfortunately, in the South Asian culture. You have historic legacies of violence that many of our parents and grandparents were exposed to, whether that's colonial legacy, whether that's caste and class oppression in our communities, issues of migration and isolation, as Dasharath also mentioned. Folks who are coming here, they uh, may not necessarily be able to fully attune themselves to the society that we are living in. In addition to all of this, now under the current socio-political climate that we are living in, there are other dynamics as well, whether it's immigration status, whether it is still not so fully accepted aspect of the LGBTQ, the sexual orientation of our community members. All of this put together, you look at, they prohibit and become a detrimental factor for both the victims and survivors, for not being proactive in seeking help from the community-based organizations like ours and SEWA. And on the other end, because of these cultural barriers, men, like myself, most of whom are abusers in the gender justice context, unfortunately suppress these conversations in the society and community at large. So unless and until we uh, we do not violate the individual rights, human rights of the abused victim and survivor in the name of protecting the family honor, we may not necessarily be able to fully do justice to the gender justice issue.
Dasharath?
Yeah, absolutely. Agree, totally agree with Shakil. And yeah, cultural and this stigma is one of the important factor in the South Asian community. As he mentioned, yeah, I totally agree with you. Patriarchal norms and masculinity norms, lack of education, cultural stigma, power of norms, uh, um, community issues, lack of role models and recognition also, and fear of losing control, authority. Always men think about I may be lost my control in the family. So that may be reason and intersectionality and cultural norms. All those count in the our South Asian system. Always South Asian men think about I'm the karta of the family, but we are staying in the country like a rich country, American United States. So all are equal, right? Men and women are equal, but people thinking about so we are the king of the family. So that way we are getting these so many problems in the families. So that need to be addressed as soon as possible. Then only healthy family, healthy relationship happens.
Yeah, and sometimes you know what, both of you, whatever you shared is really absolutely correct. But I also sometimes feel like a lack of role models. Like
Yeah.
people should see people like you. I mean, youth, young men should see people like you who are in this movement, doing your role and doing a lot to bring gender justice. And sometimes I think that young men not seeing that kind of role models. They're like, maybe we should do more publicity, more focus this kind of healthy role model rather than some unhealthy role model, like some players or movie actors who are abusing their partners, and they're perpetrating gender abuse. But young folks, they see it at them as their role models, and they're following their path. They see that it is okay to abuse your partners. It's a lot of work. We, all of us, we have a role in it. So thank you for sharing your perspective. And we must have this kind of, at least we must have this kind of conversation over and over to identify how to break silence, how to redefine masculinity, how to create safe space for men to be allies. Because change begins when we understand the barriers and commit to breaking them together. So we all should do our best. And in my personal opinion, cultural expectations or cultural training, both of you said that from South Asian culture, often make it difficult for men to step into allyship. Like all three of us are agreeing all this on this term. But however, I would like to hear your perspective. Like, you both are South Asian men, but probably came from different religious background, social background, or ethnic background. So, in your communities, how traditional gender norms or expectations influence men's attitude toward power imbalance in partner relationships? Give us some example.
Dasharath,
Yeah,
go ahead
absolutely.
this time, you first.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Yes, the traditional gender norms play a big role in the South Asian community. Men are often seen as the head of the
Hmm.
family, while women are expected to take care of the home. Right? That's what's happening here also. This can create a unfair balance of power. Yeah, absolutely. This is creating a unfair balance of our. For example, some men make family or financial decision without asking their partners. Other might feel uncomfortable showing emotion or listening to their partner feeling. These behaviors come from old ideas of what it means to be a man, right? So, so we need to take collective decisions, but it's not happening in the South Asian communities. So that is the reason some issues are coming out between the families. And we need to change the definition of masculinity also. We need to redefine masculinity as a kindness, respect, and equality. Real strength comes from the being understand and treating everyone with dignity, not from control or dominance, right? So correct decision will come with mutual, then only all things when goes very well, right? So that is the reason this definition of masculinity need to be changed. So that is my perception about the norms of the family.
No, I agree. I agree. You're on the money, so to speak, Sharad. I totally agree that, I think the another aspect that we also have to cultivate in our communities, the concept of equality and equity. The gender roles are so ingrained and traditionally structured in the psyche of our both men and women. As you rightly said, man is the head of the family. Oftentimes, there are women who make more money than men,
Yeah.
and they are still not considered as the head of the family by virtue of economic status. So I think the concept of equality, regardless of who makes how much, that it is equally shared and belongs to the entire family. And they make decisions that they want to make, they need to make with mutual consent and due respect and concerns for each other. And the idea of equity, where a man goes out and buys a new Mercedes, and the wife or the mother or the sister is driving a older car or don't have the resources, or she has to take permission from the husband or the father to be able to seek these resources, etc. So that concept of equality and equity must be fully ingrained in our psyche. So we have to uncondition ourselves first from the traditional historical legacy norms, and then recondition ourselves with this new idea that ought to be have been the norm, but it's an exception in our community, particularly in the society in which we live, where we live now in United States, to be able to redefine this fully. Only then we would be able to have a healthy family and a healthy community.
Yeah.
And you know what? When I'm listening to both of you, I'm thinking that yes, all three of us are South Asian. We have some similarities, commonalities, but we are coming from different religious, social, cultural background and bringing our own diversity. But something is so common. Whatever you shared, Dasharath, whatever you shared, Shakeel, I completely agree with you. I came from a traditional Bengali Hindu family from India. So I can take example from there. At what you already shared, like male privilege is very common. For example, men and boys eating first and getting served the best food, or male family members take financial decisions even if a female member earn a good salary. Female members need permission for many things that male family members don't need permission for. So these types of actions repeatedly confirm female devaluation and male entitlement. Yes, people are changing in this country. People are in a community changing. After for better, they're changing, but still this kind of attitude, this kind of actions are so much present in South Asian across South Asian countries, that create power imbalance in partner relationship. So I'm so glad that you shared all these things, that I completely agree with you. And engaging men and boys in gender justice movement is a mammoth work, is a difficult one, but it's a very necessary one. We have to do this. And but you are, both of you are veterans in this work. So from your perspective, what are the effective ways we should begin this conversation in male dominated spaces like religious institutions, like cultural organizations, or even workplaces?
Yeah, absolutely. I can do. So, generally, on behalf of SEWA, we will organize a free health clinics to the community. We will go to the temples, we will go to the mosque, we will go to the gurudwaras every month, and we will go to some workplaces also sometime to organize a free health clinics. We will see the different perception of discussions about the families and abuse, and everybody have a different opinion. If my I belongs to region, even region also I belongs to south part of India. So our perceptions, our conversations are little bit different to the North India. So we are seeing that kind of differences, and how to tackle this kind of situations. So it's good idea to build relationship first. Actually, that is the talking with community leaders and respected members, understand their values and use that connection to introduce the topic gently. So that need to be done before. Use positive and inclusive language, very important. So we do not talk about violence, abuse. Instead of the violence, abuse, we need to talk family harmony, respect, and kindness, mental well-being. This makes people more open to listening, right? So we need to create safe and welcome spaces, and encourage open discussion without judgment. Invite male roles models to speak and share real life stories that inspire reflection and action. So that way we can create space for the male and other families, so that we can create a harmony in the families. That's what I my feelings. Thank you.
True, true. I concur with that. And we do more or less the same as well, Nandini. In addition to that, we have also have had one-on-one conversations with the religious leaders, both in
Yeah.
mosques and temples and in gurdwaras, to not necessarily investigate or interrogate their perspective about gender-based violence, but shared our work and requested them and appealed to them that would it be possible for you as a person of respect and recognition in our community who has a credible voice, who people look up to and trust, to speak on this topic or organize an event on this topic and invite others from the community, whether it is us or somebody else, but they speak on this topic. As a person of Islamic tradition, I do have had the privilege of speaking from the pulpit after Friday prayers. And I am pleasantly surprised that overwhelming majority of the people in the congregation appreciated and applauded the frankness and openness of the real life stories of the victims and survivors of gender-based violence in our community. Data never lies, numbers don't lie. And these are extremely, extremely powerful stories. And when we share those stories and remind people that, look, it could be your daughter or your wife or your mother or your sister tomorrow. How can we possibly, as a human being, as a person of conscience, as a person of faith, as a person of extremely rich culture for women, in the Islamic tradition, it is said that the heaven lies under the feet of your mother,
Yeah.
right? Um, and in the Hindu tradition, we call women a Devi, a goddess, for God's sake. How can we possibly imagine deliberately and intentionally abusing verbally, physically, or financially, and etc., etc. We just can't. So there is a moral perspective to the behavior of the people, to the psyche of the folks, and religion plays an extremely important role in sharing those values that are grounded in our own faith traditions, and remind people, particularly men, because most of the abusers are men, unfortunately,
Yeah.
to remind them of their individual and collective responsibility as a person of faith, regardless of what faith tradition that they come from. So we have been successful in this regard in persuading the religious leaders of our various faith groups within the subcontinent or the South Asian context to speak about this. And we had some seminars and symposia where academics and activists also came to the panel. So different perspectives in public conversations. Most importantly, those courageous few people who were also willing to step up and share their personal stories in public spaces, the survivors of GBV. No one, at least from my perspective, I have never seen people so moved with those stories in tears when they listen firsthand account of our sisters, of our mothers, of our wives and our daughters in public space standing up and saying, this is what happened to me. And I think these are extremely powerful stories. And we should not be shy, I think, in talking about it. We should be respectful, kind and compassionate, etc. But we shouldn't downplay the magnitude of suffering of the victims and survivors, and the magnitude of the wrongs that are being perpetuated by men in our community, regardless of their faith and ethnic perspective. Until we have those conversations from that perspective, it would be very difficult for us to really fully end this cancer that exists in our community.
Yeah.
Sorry, I gave you a very long
Absolutely.
answer.
No, no, no.
Yeah,
Actually,
absolutely.
you
Yeah.
are, you are very, very thorough, and I really thank you for sharing everything, because I think people, our listeners, especially men, they should hear it. I also believe that our faith leaders, our community leaders, who like influential men in our community, if they show support and they show their stand against gender-based violence, then probably ordinary men, who look up to them, they will also join the movement. When people are facing domestic violence, generally people go to their faith leaders for any support. And if they are telling them that, no, this is wrong and we support survivors, then people will get that message. So, Shakil, I completely agree what you were sharing. So thank you, actually. As we wrap up this powerful conversation, we want to leave our listeners, especially the men tuning in, with something to take forward. So, if you could leave our male listeners with one call to action, what would that be?
I think I can go. I
Please.
urge our male listeners to be the change they want to see in their communities. That is very important. And take the pledge to prevent domestic violence. That we need to ask pledge. One more thing I would like to say: listen to and believe survivors.
Hmm.
Speak up when you witness disrespect or abuse, and support organization working to prevent domestic violence. Be positive role model for healthy relationship and respect. Join the movement and share your commitment on social media using be the 1 in 3. So we need to give some statistics to the men actually how women is abusing, and 1 in 3 people women is abuse is happening in the community. We need to do that statistics so that they need to think about the cause, right? So create a wave of men committed to creating culture of respect, empathy, and understanding. So I urge all our male listeners to be the change they want to see in their communities. Standing, so that way we can call to action. We can create. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. You stole all my ideas, Dashrath, and I I agree with you 200%. In one short sentence, I would say, don't ever look the other way when gender-based violence happens, whether it's in your family, in your neighborhood, in your community, in your place of worship, in your workplace. Do not look the other way, because it could be your daughter, your wife, your sister, your mother, may happen to her. So don't look the other way. Speak up and honor what you have shared. But I'll just add one thing to it, that to my male brothers across the spectrum, we have a duty, a moral duty, an ethical duty to protect and defend the honor of our women. And we should do that every day, consciously, deliberately, and intentionally. And I hope and pray that the male listeners of this wonderful, important, critically important podcast would pay attention to our collective responsibility to end this cancer in our community. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dasharath and Shakeel, for coming to our show. I know how busy you guys are, but still you came and you talked about the challenges we see in our work, the culture, South Asian culture, and the possibilities for change. So I'm excited about that and really appreciate your vision and the work you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank you
inviting
so
us.
much.
Listeners, today's conversation really reminds us that ending gender based violence is something we all have a role in, especially men, as Dasharath and Shakeel shared. Change starts in the little moments in our home, with friends, in our communities. When men listen, reflect, and step up with empathy, we all move closer to a world that's safer and more equal. And working together, women and men, makes the movement, I think, stronger and brings us one step closer to a future without violence, the future we all hope for. You can catch all our episodes of Maitri Podcast Between Friends on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and SoundCloud. Don't forget to like, share, and follow us on social media pages. We are at Maitri Bay Area. If you want to learn more about our free confidential programs supporting survivors of domestic violence, visit maitri.org and share it with your network. I'm your host, Nandini Ray, signing off today. I will be back soon with another conversation that matters to our community. Thanks again for listening. Thank you.
This show is for informational purposes only and is not to be construed as legal advice. Always consult an attorney for legal advice. Views expressed by guests of the radio show are individual opinions and not endorsed by Maitri.
Maitri is a free, confidential, non-profit organization based in the San Francisco Bay Area that helps families and individuals facing domestic violence. Don't suffer in silence. Call Maitri Helpline 1-888-8 MAITRI. Visit our website maitri.org.